The airplane cabin was tense the moment I stepped in, and I found myself gripping my backpack like it contained my entire life. A woman stood just inches from my seat, leaning over me, jabbing her finger so aggressively that the flight attendant had to intervene, holding her hand up like a shield. Her face was flushed red with fury. Sharp, jagged blonde hair framed her features, matching the intensity of her voice. She was dressed loudly, a pink skirt, shiny silver blouse, sunglasses perched on her head like a crown of entitlement. Around us, passengers froze. The kind of silence that only public confrontation creates hung heavy in the air. "You took it. I saw you look at my bag. Don't you dare lie to me," she shouted, each word sharp enough to cut. My throat tightened. My heartbeat felt louder than her voice. I clutched the straps of my backpack as though it could prove my innocence. "I didn't take anything," I said carefully, knowing that raising my voice would only fuel her fire. The flight attendant tried to calm her. "Ma'am, please. Let's keep calm. This is a shared space." But Lisa, I'd learn her name soon, was not the kind of person who backed down for reason or kindness. Her voice rose, echoing through the cabin like an alarm. "He stole my purse. He went in the overhead bin and took my wallet and jewelry. There are witnesses." There were no witnesses, only onlookers unsure what to make of the spectacle. Accusations shouted loudly enough have a strange way of sounding like truth. The story didn't begin there. The flight had started normally. I was heading to Chicago for a job interview that could change everything. I had prepared for weeks, and I needed this opportunity more than I could explain to anyone on that plane. I arrived early, checked in, and boarded with quiet relief. I wasn't there to make small talk or impressions. I just wanted to breathe, review my talking points, and arrive safely. I heard Lisa before I saw her arguing with a gate agent. Her voice was confident, theatrical, the kind that demands immediate compliance. It's a Louis Vuitton limited edition. I'm not shoving it under a seat beside someone's dirty shoes. When she finally boarded, she moved down the aisle as if she owned the plane, sighing loudly whenever anyone moved too slowly. Passengers followed her with quiet eyes, silently judging the display. She took the aisle seat next to mine. I offered a polite nod. She ignored it. She tossed her oversized purse into the overhead bin with careless entitlement, pushing my backpack slightly aside as if her belongings deserved more space. I told myself not to react. I just wanted peace. For the first 30 minutes, turbulence rattled the cabin, shaking drinks, shifting objects, and murmuring discomfort through the passengers. When the plane finally steadied, Lisa reached for her bag, expecting it to fall neatly into her hands. It wasn't there. Her face hardened, eyes locking on me like I was both culprit and solution. "Where's my purse?" She snapped. I glanced up. My backpack hadn't moved. "I'm not sure. Maybe it shifted during turbulence." Her eyes narrowed. "You touched it?" "No," I said, steady, though unsure how to prove something so obvious. She didn't look for her bag. She didn't check anyone else's. She went straight to accusation. It was her instinct. "You moved my bag. You were waiting for the right moment. I saw you look at it. You probably stuffed my wallet in there thinking you'd get away with it." Passengers stiffened. The flight attendant arrived instantly. "Is there a problem here?" "Yes," Lisa said immediately. "He stole my purse, my wallet, my jewelry. Search him now." The attendant turned to me. "Sir, did you handle this passenger's bag at any time?" "No, I didn't touch your bag at all." Lisa scoffed, loud enough to draw attention from 2 rows back. "Look at him. His guilty face says it all." I wanted to explain that guilt isn't visible like that an accusation doesn't equal truth. But arguing with someone determined to be right is like trying to stop a flood with bare hands. The flight attendant suggested we all take a breath. But Lisa wasn't interested. "I want his bag checked right now. I want everyone to see what he's hiding." My chest tightened. I had nothing to hide. But being accused in front of dozens of strangers, every pair of eyes pressing down as though waiting for me to fail, triggered a deep instinctive shame. The attendant sighed, knowing refusal would only escalate things. "Sir, would you open your bag to clear this up?" I hated the idea, but the alternative was worse. I nodded and lifted my backpack onto my lap. Silence rippled through the cabin. A few passengers angled their phones, recording. My hands moved deliberately, unzipping my backpack slowly, pulling items out one by one. Headphones, a book, charger, folder with my interview notes. Nothing of hers. Nothing that wasn't mine. The silence thickened. Lisa didn't back down. Her eyes darted, searching for another angle. He hid it somewhere else. That's what thieves do. They plan. The word thief hit like a weight, pressing into me. It followed me into imagined rooms I didn't want to enter. Around me, the flight crew tensed. Nearby passengers watched quietly, some sympathetic, others growing impatient. I didn't take your bag. I didn't touch it, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. Maybe it slid a few rows back during turbulence. Can we check the overhead bins nearby? My words fell like gasoline. Oh, how convenient for you. She sneered, sarcasm dripping from each syllable, offering to help now that you've hidden it. Her words twisted through the air like smoke, thick, choking, inescapable. I felt cornered, physically, socially, emotionally, publicly. There was no way to prove what I hadn't done. All I could do was sit in the weight of an accusation that refused to relent. The plane moved steadily through the sky, but inside, time felt suspended. Everyone's attention was on us. I could sense their curiosity, frustration, impatience, but no one intervened. Not yet then, a voice broke through. Quiet, hesitant, but clear. I think I saw something. It came from 2 rows behind. A teenager, maybe 16, clutching a phone loosely. Their tone wasn't confident, it was careful, but it carried weight enough to pull every eye toward them. For the first time, Lisa paused. The teenager cleared their throat. Slight, hoodie bunched around their shoulders, headphones resting around their neck. I think I saw what happened to your bag. Lisa whipped her head around. Excuse me? I was recording, the teen said, fingers tightening around the phone. Your bag slid. It moved a few rows back during turbulence. For a split second, hope flickered in me, a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. But Lisa crushed it instantly. You're mistaken, she said flatly. My purse was right there next to his bag before the turbulence. He clearly got up and moved it. The teen hesitated, shrinking slightly under the weight of her certainty. I think the video shows Lisa raised a hand like swatting away a fly. No. You think you saw something, but you didn't, and this, she jabbed her finger at me, is still responsible. My stomach twisted. Logic had abandoned me. Truth alone offered no protection when someone was determined to rewrite reality into malice. The flight attendant tried again. Measured. Ma'am, if there's video evidence, we should look at it before continuing accusations. Lisa scoffed. Why are you all defending him? Are you seriously going to take the word of a child holding a phone over mine? The attendant exhaled through her nose, the exhaustion of 1,000 similar conflicts settling into her posture. No one is taking sides. We're just trying to handle this calmly. Oh, don't lecture me about calm. Lisa leaned back dramatically, arms crossed. My personal property is missing, and I refuse to be treated like I'm crazy for demanding accountability. She was unraveling yet entirely in control of her narrative, radiating certainty that bent the attention of the cabin toward her. Meanwhile, the teenager sank back, clutching their phone like a fragile truth no one had asked for. The flight attendant glanced at me, silently asking, "Let her try one more time." I nodded, grounding myself, perched on the edge of something steep. My future, credibility, and sanity balanced on the next few moments. Let's breathe and discuss options, the attendant said carefully. We can check the nearby overhead bins. It's very possible the bag slid during turbulence. Lisa's voice sharpened to a razor. No, searching there is a waste of time. He already hid it. Or worse, he passed it to someone else. Thieves work in teams. That's how they get away with it. I know how this works. A man across the aisle leaned forward. With all due respect, we don't know that. You should at least look before accusing someone like that. Lisa snapped at him instantly. I didn't ask for your commentary. The cabin grew heavier. Some passengers were frustrated, some angry. Others just exhausted and craving silence. But now no one could look away. A public confrontation demanded attention. I inhaled slowly, voice steady but quiet. Look, I understand you're upset. Anyone would be. But I didn't take your bag. I didn't touch it. I'm willing to help. Check with other passengers, whatever it takes. I meant it. I wanted peace, clarity, relief. I wanted to be seen as who I truly was, not who she decided I was. But to Lisa, my willingness was proof of guilt. There, look at that, she said, gesturing dramatically to the cabin. He's eager to help now because he wants to look innocent. Classic manipulation, murmurs spread. Skeptical, sympathetic, frustrated. The flight attendant stepped closer, voice firming, preparing to steer the situation toward resolution. Ma'am, we will handle this in a structured way, the flight attendant said firmly. We can continue disruptively, or we can follow procedure and resolve this calmly. Lisa turned slowly toward her, eyes flashing with a dangerous, self-assured glint. And what procedure is that? Letting thieves get away with crime? The attendant's patience cracked just enough to reveal steel beneath. The procedure, she said, is that we check the overhead bins. If necessary, airport security will be involved upon landing. But accusing passengers without evidence is not acceptable. For a moment, Lisa paused, calculating. She sensed the performance she was staging could have consequences, but she didn't back down. Instead, she redirected her fury. You know what? Fine, go ahead. Check the bins. Waste everyone's time. But when you don't find anything, remember I warned you. The flight attendant nodded and moved down the aisle, checking the compartments with methodical care. She opened ours again, then the one forward, then back, nothing. With every empty bin, a sinking weight grew in my chest. If it wasn't there, I was trapped in an accusation I couldn't defend against. Passengers craned their necks. The teenager watched silently, phone clutched tight. I didn't breathe until the attendant opened the bin 2 rows behind us. There it was. Lisa's silver purse, wedged sideways against a carry-on. Unmoved, unopened, unbothered. My exhale came shaky but freeing. The attendant held it aloft, clear for everyone to see. A ripple ran through the cabin. Soft murmurs, then louder relief, vindication on my behalf. But Lisa did not soften. Her face twisted. Not an embarrassment, not an apology, but into something like fury. No, she said, voice trembling with outrage. He moved it there. He must have done it when no one was looking. He planned this. Reality bent itself around her need to be right. The flight attendant closed her eyes briefly, gathering resolve. Ma'am, we have found your purse. You need to stop accusing passengers without evidence. Lisa jerked the purse from her hands and unzipped it aggressively, checking every pocket, every compartment. My wallet. Where is my wallet? My jewelry pouch. There's cash missing. He took it. I know he took it. And just like that, the accusation evolved, reborn. I felt the air leave my chest. She wasn't just loud, she was relentless. The teenagers slowly raised their phone again. Not to record, but to offer if you want, they said quietly, voice barely above a whisper. I can show the video. They unlocked the phone, scrolling with deliberate care, reverence even, as if the weight of truth required ceremony. The cabin held its breath. Even the engine's low hum seemed swallowed in the moment. Lisa watched, arms folded, jaw tight, temple muscles twitching. I sat still, pulse racing, caught between relief and dread, even with the truth on my side. There is always a moment of fear before evidence is revealed. The teenager turned the phone toward the flight attendant first. The attendant leaned in, face calm but focused. The recording played. The only sound, the rattle and thrum of turbulence. The image jerked and bobbed. Overhead bins shook, loose items rattled. And then the purse, sliding on its own, drifting backward from one compartment into the next. No one touched it. No dramatic fall. Just momentum, turbulence, and gravity doing their work. The attendant exhaled slowly, a sigh of measured vindication. She turned the phone toward Lisa. This shows your purse moving during turbulence. No one touched it. Lisa stared, disbelief tightening her features. No relief, no surprise, just stubborn refusal. No, she said, shaking her head. This doesn't prove anything. He could have bumped it earlier. Or waited for turbulence to pretend it was an accident. Murmurs spread through the cabin. Passengers exchanged glances, eyebrows raised. This woman wasn't interested in truth, only victory. The flight attendant straightened. Ma'am, the video clearly shows the bag sliding on its own. And this gentleman, she gestured to me, was seated the entire time. You did not report anything missing until after noticing the bag had moved. Lisa barked a laugh, cracking like breaking glass. Because I didn't look inside until now. And my wallet and jewelry are gone. So unless you think they evaporated, someone took them. The teenager, still holding the phone, spoke again, soft but firmer now. If you keep watching, you can see that no one touched the bin for at least 10 minutes afterward. The flight attendant nodded. May I continue? The teen held the phone steady. Passengers leaned forward, some subtle, others overt, eyes locked on the screen. The video showed the purse sliding, then resting in its new position. The plane stabilized. Passengers adjusted themselves, some checking their own belongings, some taking in the scene. And me, there I was, plain in view, head back, eyes closed, headphones in, motionless. Lisa's face drained of color, and even then she wasn't done. "This video proves nothing," she shrieked. "He could have taken the wallet earlier, before the turbulence, before the recording. You're all blind if you don't see it." But now the cabin had shifted. People were no longer on her side. The weight of evidence had finally turned the tide. The passengers were no longer silent witnesses. They had seen enough. They had opinions. And together, a collective sense of justice had formed. An elderly woman across the aisle spoke with calm authority, the kind that comes from a lifetime of recognizing patterns. "You owe him an apology." Lisa whipped around. "Excuse me?" The older woman didn't flinch. "You accused him loudly, repeatedly, and you were wrong." Another passenger added, "You practically tried to ruin this man's life." A third said softly, "This is harassment." If that had been me, I'd be furious. Their voices weren't angry. They were resolute. The social tide had turned, and it swept Lisa backward as effortlessly as turbulence had moved her purse. Lisa clutched her bag like a lifeline, shaking it open frantically. "My wallet is missing," she insisted. "Someone took it. Someone on this plane stole from me." The flight attendant approached, calm but unyielding. "Ma'am, we will handle that upon landing. Security will meet us at the gate and we will follow the standard claim process. But you must stop accusing this passenger. The evidence shows you were mistaken." "Mistaken?" The word tore out of Lisa like a blade. "No, I was robbed." The attendant straightened, voice firm and final. "Please take your seat." For a long moment Lisa hesitated, trembling with indignation. Then reluctantly she sat. The cabin exhaled collectively. I released a breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding for nearly an hour. The teenager offered a small, shy smile. I returned it with quiet gratitude. A subtle, mutual understanding passed between us. They had stepped up, and it had mattered. Outside the window, the runway glinted in the afternoon sun. People braced themselves as the plane slowed, bags shifting, seatbelts clicking. Announcement tones chimed. But I wasn't thinking about airports or gates. I was thinking about the interview waiting for me, the future I'd worked so hard to reach. The casual chorus of landing filled the cabin. Passengers began to rise, but the attendant raised her hand. "Please remain seated. Law enforcement will be boarding to address an in-flight incident." Whispers sparked like static. 2 uniformed airport security officers entered with calm efficiency. Their eyes found Lisa immediately, not because anyone pointed, but because chaos identifies itself. Lisa stiffened, clutching her purse with both arms. "Are you serious?" The lead officer spoke evenly. "Ma'am, we need to speak with you regarding reports of harassment, false accusation, and disturbing the peace during flight." She looked around desperately, searching for allies in a crowd that had silently withdrawn every ounce of sympathy. "You can't be serious. I was the victim. He stole from me." One officer gestured calmly. "We will go through your claim, but you need to come with us now." Lisa stood slowly, disbelief etched across her face. "You're arresting me? You're arresting the person who got robbed?" Silence answered her. Not a single voice rose in her defense. As she was escorted off the plane, her outrage echoing down the jet bridge, the weight of the incident lifted. Not dramatically, not triumphantly, just gone. Like pressure releasing from a sealed cabin, the flight attendant turned to me. "Thank you for staying calm. Not everyone could have handled that." I nodded, exhaustion settling deep into my bones. "I just didn't want things to get worse." Her expression softened. "I hope the rest of your day goes smoothly." As passengers disembarked, the teenager approached one last time, phone tucked away, expression shy but purposeful. "Here," they said, handing me a small slip of paper with their email, "in case you ever need the video." I accepted it carefully. "Thank you." They shrugged, eyes warm. Everyone deserves the truth to be heard. I stepped off the plane, made my connection, aced the interview, and got the job. Later I learned Lisa's missing wallet had been found, buried beneath the lining of her own purse. Overlooked in her panic, her certainty, her need to be right. Karma rarely needs help. It just needs time. Some people carry storms wherever they go, but some of us learn to fly through.